Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to FPL Jedi Show. This is the Gameweek 37 preview, the penultimate week of season 25-26. My name is Hafiz and I am joined by my co-host Azmin. How are you? How's your feeling after the conclusion of Gameweek 36?
I'm quite alright actually. Yeah. It was a bit anticlimactic, I should say, towards the end, but I thought I did okay, even though I did still end up with a slight red arrow. There were some decisions that was made earlier that I felt was okay, nothing too drastic that was bad in that sense. So yeah, but yeah, looking forward to the trickery of the rest of the week, which has the FA Cup final, the Europa League
Yep.
final, yeah, and eventually the Champions League final as well.
Interesting. We at least we finish up the double game with 36. We've seen the result on Man City and Crystal Palace last night, and the title is still alive because Man City got that result against Crystal Palace. So we can talk about that in more depth. But do you surprised with City benching the likes of Haaland, Doku, already miss out, and the Crystal Palace kind of like feel a strong side, which we predicted could be a heavy rotation.
Yeah, I guess it was too naive of us to think that Pep would just go ahead, continue with full strength all the way. He does, So what that showed is that he does want to win that FA Cup as well, and but to be fair, he put the trust in his squad, and his squad repaid it for him. And the difference, obviously, you can't really compare to Haaland. Haaland's one of a kind, but the like Mamush and Foden who all came into people into play right out. Maybe Guardiola finally starting for the first time since he was injured and came back from injury, and
Yep.
they all came back for him, and they're ready to help him go all the way and win. So yeah, it was, and to be fair, yeah, Palace were looking a bit rusty, and Palace didn't put out a 2 week squad either. They did play quite a strong squad. Mateta still played,
Yep.
the back four. Munoz still played. It was just Sa and a couple others who didn't. But otherwise, it was still a strong squad. But I did feel I watched a lot of that match actually this morning, and I did feel that Crystal Palace weren't going 100%. They were a bit being cautious. I want to play at the end of it, and I do feel that it's going to be a bit of a worry towards the end as well, because it's going to be uh, a bit dangerous. I guess the closer it gets to the date, the harder it gets for them to should I do I want to do this, that kind of thing. So we'll see what happens, but I'm just happy that I didn't go to for any Crystal Palace assets, because I feel that if I did, now I'm gonna be struggling where to dump them. I wouldn't know where to go.
Yep. Okay. I think later we'll take a look how those Man City and Palace perform in Game Week 36. Just some insights and also how our team perform. We were going to discuss, for this Game Week 37 preview, what's left for the team to play for this the final 2 game weeks. Okay, there are more definitive from last week. Whose team on the beach? We will discuss on that. Then after that, we take a look at some key players that we can target because there's only 2 weeks left. There's not a lot of playing that we can do. We can also be aggressive this week, depending on how many transfer that you have, or all in next week for sure, because that's it. The season ends after that.
Yeah, so I know it's kind of white, because if all veterans of FPL, you should all remember that Game Week 38 is a huge minefield. Players disappearing. And I'm sure there are those requests that maybe not of that Cunha style, about 3 matches no longer to play because of Brazil, but I'm sure there are other teams that the requests coming in from their national managers. Can you limit the minutes of any players, and it will especially impact for those that don't have any big change left for the World Cup. Maybe not game week 37, but come game week 38, that's the minefield. So for me, whatever you're planning for game week 37, don't worry about game week 38 much, and just focus on game week 37 first, and then adjust depending on where teams are, and because after game week 37, then the motivations might change depending on where they are at in the table. So definitely, so focus on game week 37 for your transfer. Don't worry too much about what's going to happen in game week 38 yet.
Okay, great start, man. Like to mention to everyone, as you can see, both of us had a red arrow. This is how our team performed in game week, double game week 36. I scored 66 points. Yourself activated your triple captainship and you scored 79 points. And the average point was 60 points. 60 points, yeah. Let me take a quick look. 65 points. 65 points. So can you imagine? I only 1 point over the average point. So there's no surprise. And to be frank, I had a really painful red arrow this week from 49k drop to 81k. I can't imagine that situation. A lot of managers has activated triple captainship this week. Some bench boosting. Some have a different kind of player who scored better overall. As you can see for my team, the defense side has been excellent. Double combo in terms of Brighton players. Verbruggen and Van Heck got that standard 6 point, the benchmark, no DC point, no save point, so-called bonus point. O'Reilly missed out last against Palace, but he did keep a clean sheet before that. So 5 points there. Gabriel, Arsenal wins 1-0 against West Ham. Could easily be a different story, okay? Yep. But it is Ila Gabriel got 6 points, 2 DC points, just enough that 10 DC points and then get that 2 and then 3 bonus points. But other than it, all blank in my other division, midfield and attackers. Saka blank, yellow carded. Tavernier, I just want to point out this. Tavernier sudah dapat that 3 points on the bench. I don't know what he's mentioning to me. The referee goes to the bench and yellow carded Tavernier. That one. I just cannot take that. Come on, you just shut out your mouth there, please. On the bench, you can get the yellow card. That one I cannot take. Okay, but I just want to point out here.
The thing is, the people on the bench who get carded tend to be the manager and his assistants. Player getting carded. So
that why I cannot take it, because as you imagine, man, we discuss really in details. I offline with you. Which player do I need to decide between Tavernier and Enzo Fernandez? And Fernandez down there on the bench, he did manage an attack return against Liverpool, got 2 bonus points if I'm right. Despite yellow card, he got 8 points. He could easily be in my team, but I've decided that I will live with my decision. Okay, but Tavernier, that yellow card, I cannot take it. So Cherky, 1 point the first game, sub out before 60 minutes. Then after that, on the bench, nasib lah, come off the bench, and the last 10 minutes, he sound rather get that assist. So 5 points, I'll take that anyway. But we can point out Semenyo scored better. For you had Cherky also. Semenyo, the most transfer out or somewhere like that, top 5, he scored 12 points this week. His minutes are excellent. We discussed last week that probably Semenyo could be up the air in terms of minutes, right? And then Doku at least got 11 points the first game despite the benching the second game against Palace. Bruno Fernandes, 3 points. I think because United only managed a near draw against Sunderland. João Pedro blank. Welbeck blank against Wolves. Right, at home. They win 3-0. Welbeck sub out. Somewhere set here plus minute for Rata. Another disappointing night. And to top up of that, his competitor, because I during the World Cup in game 32, I need to decide whether Welbeck and or DCL excel with 7 points this week. scored a goal against Spurs from the penalty spot. So on my bench, Enzo 8 points. Hill, I will never play him against Fulham. Probably people mention, hey, you should play the on-form player, which is Bournemouth, right? They has been extended. They are 15 games unbeaten run, something like that. They are at 6th place right now. So 6 points. Probably I'm right. I'm wrong on that, but this is what decision I already made. So that's it. That's my team, man. Over to your team.
So for me, Kelleher, only 3 points, so nothing much can do there. And I have Anderson for the red card. So annoying because I chose to play Anderson and bench Tennessee on the other side. Gabriel, as we all had him, I'm just happy I had Guehi instead of O'Reilly, so he gained off to me very well, 15 points. Dewsbury Hall came off an assist. I was hoping there'd be more, but that was it. Saka, I guess everyone's disappointed with that, but is anyone really that surprised? I guess not. Turkey. Okay, so I watching the match this morning, and the thing is, when he came on, it's so electric, and I love watching him, and it was incredible just to see how he plays, the vision that he have, and the assist was incredible. It was so clever, and I'm obviously Semenyo came off with the points, but I think long term, well, not really long term. It's only 2 weeks left, really, but Turkey is going to be a huge asset, because in terms of that creativity, sure, Foden got the first 2 assists, but he got the third one, and that third one was a thing of beauty because it was just all the NCT players carrying it, and then the pass was exquisite, so it was great. And seeing him come on the bench, I was like, Turkey's come in. Maybe not Haaland, but I think Turkey can do something, and he did. Not a goal, but an assist. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Thiago blanked. Okay, so this was, I guess, one of the disappointments. I really thought Brentford could at least score against City, and that turned out to be not the case. So the other disappointment was Welbeck. So yeah, like 2 strikers. Brighton scoring in the first 2 minutes. Welbeck not first 2 minutes, within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And Welbeck not terlibat langsung. So that is another disappointing part of the game. But hey, you play the cards that you dealt with, and Welbeck has been the disappointment. You could argue, and although there's no real reason to sell him right now because Brighton are still fighting for Europe. He's not as attractive. Because he's not the central player that we want him to be in terms of contributing, in terms of goals. He's not doing enough of that. So yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, yeah, we can expect that red card, right? Against Fulham against Bournemouth, Anderson got a red card. So, but pretty much you're still in terms of position, yours 79 points on triple captain. Are you? I don't know. Sedih ke Haaland not playing at all at second game against Fellas?
Yeah, obviously, I'm disappointed, but at the end of the day, he still scored double digit, which is something what I want. But the minimum requirement of any for a triple captaincy is for my player to get double digit, and he did get 11. So it's just really disappointing that he didn't, haul by at least coming on as a sub, because even if he comes in as a sub for 20 minutes, give him keep his legs running lah, Pep. But anyway, so it's done. So disappointed, but not too disappointed. He still returned more than most of those triple captaincy Gabriels. But of course, in the end, if you net it off, if most people had both Gabriel and Haaland, the difference isn't that much. But hey, it's still points, so I'll take it.
Against Gabriel in Gameweek 24, if I'm right. So in the end, it's only 4 points different, right?
Yep. Yeah, but it's still points, so I'll take it.
Yeah, still point.
I'll be too disappointed.
Yeah, still 4 points. So if let's say you give me option, I'll definitely take that 4 points. 4 points might make a difference.
I'm not going to say, can you give me a point? No, I still want the points.
Yeah.
Even if it's still points. So yeah.
So here the visual from all about FPL. Do check out him and follow him. So by the end, it's only 4 points. So people like me who are captaining Gabriel, triple captain Gabriel previously, was at least not having a big damage from that 100 triple captaincy. He could easily be higher. He could easily score, if let's say he play and score a goal, probably 20 points, 18 points. So that will be equals like a hat trick, right? During
Yes.
in single game week. So pretty much, but any days, if there is only 4 points, 3 points, 2 points different, I will take that. Okay. So that is it. The conversation ataupun the battle between which triple captain week is better. Yeah. In the end, in short, 37 is the winner. That's all.
Yep, that's right.
And then we take a quick look, man. When deciding or mentioning about Crystal Palace asset, whether worthwhile to get it or not. So let's stick on the Man City player on the left side in game 36 point. Might get him in, your player. So 15 points, the highest. Nobody else. So you make a good decision because you also contemplating whether Gehi sideways move to O'Reilly, right? So by sticking that Gehi, 50 points. So you definitely pretty glad on that. Other than that, Donnarumma is not someone that you're going to pick. Marmoush also. Foden, not also 13 points, but you had Semenyo 12, so he's among the top. Doku 12 because the first game got 11. Haaland 11. Semenyo not so much. Ake, Bernardo, Nouri, Kusanov, Nunez, not so much. There's no Chiki and Orlay here because they are on 5 points. Pretty much you're on Gehi, you have Semenyo, then you had a bit weak in terms of Man City players. On the right side, Crystal Palace, I said, I think if you have you kind of like say you made that decision. You mentioned previously, if there is one Crystal Palace asset that you want to take into or transfer into for game 36 is Ismail Sarr, which is your outcome is here, 8 points, 6.3, 6.5 million players. So you'll take that. But if you went for the defenders, you end up with Lacroix 4 points, Henderson 3 points, Munoz like some players have 3 points. Would you be happy with that? At least probably. But if they say you're benching Senesi or Van Hag over those Crystal Palace, probably not a nice point, right?
Yeah, betul. Yes, exactly. So yeah, very happy you're going. And so you look at that, Sarr is the best one. So the popular ones, which is Henderson, Munoz, Richards, and Lacroix. So no one's gone above 6 points. So let's say because I know someone who had Henderson and chose Henderson over Raya. That's a big loss. You know, but because that just shows, because we were talking about this, how trying to calculate if and I kept saying that Henderson at the most he'll probably score at least 2 goals, concede at least 2 goals in both games. So in the end, you're looking at 1 point, and then after that maybe some save points. And turns out that there was some save points for 3. Otherwise, it's 1 + 1 + 1 save point. So it's just wasn't worth it. Lacroix 4 points. Is it worth it? I don't think so. When you can get someone from Brighton and get a clean sheet, and the clean sheet, and that's already 6 points. Hell, give him a yellow card and he gets 5 points. It's still more. so like I said, it's really come down. You take that punt. If you think that Henderson's going to score penalty, save a penalty, then you go for Henderson. If you think that Sarr's the one who's going to score a goal, and then you want to take that punt for one match, not about the X minutes anymore. It's about he can come in and do a job. And so I'm okay not owning Sarr, because I know that after that I'm going to have trouble trying to figure out where to dump him. And I think this is a problem for those. Maybe I guess they can go on the bench for most of them, especially those who went for triple Crystal Palace defense. With those who wildcarded late, so that they could end up with that, then they'll go on the bench lah, I suppose. But for those who didn't wildcard, I just happen to have that, they'll probably just stick on the bench, because we've seen it's going to be very unpredictable, and you're probably better off having different player on the playing for you in your first 11 come game week 17.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't make my move to any Crystal Palace asset, especially because if I made that move, probably on the defense, and it would cost me a transfer and a transfer out in 37, 38. So the outcomes from this game week, double game week 36, at least justify for myself, especially not making any Crystal Palace. All right. We conclude all those topics and debate about double game week 36. Let's move on or revisit what happened in game week 36 and move forward. As you can see, there are some interesting results from the game week 36. In terms of league title, okay, after that result, Man City training against Crystal Palace, they are really on net to net, right? Okay, 79 on 77 points. They will go all the way, but the game week 37, we touch on that later in terms of fixture. And also this will be a tricky one. We will go blind because tomorrow will be the deadline for game week 37, 1:30 a.m. Malaysian time. And the FA Cup match will happen on Saturday between Man City and also Chelsea. And we will go blind in game week 37 for both of that team because they play in midweek of 37. So we won't know what will happen after the FA Cup. Probably if they say some players play until 120 minutes or until the penalty kick or injury and so on, I think you need to prepare your bench just in case if that happens. Okay, so that's the conundrum for this game week 37. From that game 36, City and Arsenal will play until the wire, I hope, but we're not sure if they say that's happened in terms of Bournemouth City result in game week 37. So you need to be careful on that. In terms of relegation battle, much clearer now. The Leeds, the Crystal Palace, the Forest are safe. Plus Newcastle are now only down with Spurs or West Ham. West Ham lose to Arsenal 1 year. Spurs should have won against Leeds United at home, should take advantage because they play on Sunday. They only scrapped a 1-1 draw against Leeds. They're only 2 points over and they are not safe. So it means that it will be interesting 37 and probably go down to the wire 38. We are not sure, but this also something to play, right? In terms of Champions League spot, we mentioned United already locked, but Liverpool and Villa drew. Interestingly, okay, Liverpool drew with Chelsea, Villa drew with Burnley. So now they are still in the poll to finish in the top 5, but they are not safe yet, right? So if you see, I think on dekat sini, on the league table on the right side, Brighton.
If they draw one, both of them and lose the other game, and Bournemouth win both games, then they just overtake. Then it becomes a goal difference issue. But of course, as a Liverpool fan, I'm happy goal difference wise, it's much better than Villa. Villa desperately trying to make it better, but then they still end up drawing, so no difference there. Bournemouth still has a chance to catch them. Yeah, but it will take some very unlikelihood which we'll see.
Interestingly, like we discussed online, Liverpool are playing Aston Villa this week. That's another interesting one because someone will drop point right this week when the Liverpool are Aston Villa, and that will be interesting for Bournemouth and Brighton. Possibly Brentford are still on the fight in terms of this European spot. The Europa League still up for grab. The Conference League, Chelsea are playing Man City. Okay, 9 place and 10 place right now for shared points. Chelsea and Everton 49. Fulham probably still in the mix. Sunderland, but realistically, I think Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford should get that spot, European spot, unless something really can happen to Chelsea and Everton. Chelsea will play FA Cup. If you ask me, Chelsea should focus on that game. Win that game because that could be the only road to Europe. Okay, win that game, lock your Europa League spot, even though it's not Champions League spot. Okay, because if you're going through that league position, I'm not too sure whether you're going to lock anything because they are playing Spurs and then the last game week against away to Sunderland. So I think if let's say Chelsea won FA Cup or lose, kalau win means that they could be on the pitch already. Why I want to focus those Spurs and stuff. Probably you want to play your pride against Spurs at home because you can have a hand on if let's say you want to relegate Spurs to Championship, because they need result, right? So, but that's the situation. So, Brighton, Brentford still has something to play, man. So, anything takeaways from game 36 in terms of the results?
Yeah, Brighton just steaming on, not definitely getting very excited at this prospect of playing for Europe there, and they're just pushing on. And Bournemouth as well, doing well. 1-0 Fulham at home at Craven Cottage. You got to be credit where credit is due. So just you were mentioning about Chelsea, so yeah, this is the only chance of salvage some respectability after the season has gone terribly downhill for the I'm sorry Hafiz, your team, but that's the reality of it. So you're right, they should definitely look at that FA Cup as something to at least have something to show for it after all that. Other in terms of results, there that Newcastle Forest result, Forest, after having not getting knocked out of Europe, so they've managed to draw. So I don't know where they are now that they safe but out of Europe. So what they will do, I'm not sure. So that's something I can't remember who's playing Forest next week. Then I will look at it later.
Okay.
But I guess the biggest, for me, one of the biggest things is that Spurs Leeds result 1-1, as well as the West Ham result, which was expected. If Spurs had won that one, then they'll put a lot of distance away. 2 more points, they'll be on 40 and 36, which almost seals West Ham's doom. But because they drew against Leeds, who theoretically got argued on the beach, but they played really well. They really well, and even though they conceded early, but then some silliness allowed Leeds to equalize with a penalty. So when I look at that Spurs Leeds result, I realized that Leeds are not a team that we can take lightly. They defensively have been quite strong in this last third of the season, and I think whoever comes out of that, don't assume that it's going to be auto 3 points. The Crystal Palace and City, we saw rotations on both sides, more from City side than Palace actually. So that's the problem now is that like you said, there's so much uncertainty what's going to happen for the FA Cup final. Would you assume that City are going to put up a strong squad? Yeah, and then what are Palace going to do? Palace, they'll just continue to rotate, and that rotation is too dangerous for us to play around. So we'll probably just avoid totally. I just want to say something about Bournemouth. Can you crazy how Bournemouth are at 6? They started the season last season. Kepa was the keeper. Then then now back to Vicario. What's his name?
Petrovic.
Spurs. Petrovic. The 4 defenders out of the first choice defenders from last season, only Senesi was left. Kirkes and Zaphani, all that. Who said I went Barcelona. Yeah, so they all left. So only Senesi is left, and somehow they reconstructed. Utara left also in the midfield. But And now look, the defense so strong. Senesi is getting points like no one's business. And Senesi is actually the 3rd best defender in FPL at the moment. So can you imagine what Iraola has done there? You got to be credit. And halfway through the season, Semenyo left. And somehow they've continued to push and they've done so well. You got to give credit. I don't know where Iraola is going after this, but up there it's insane. Considering what I mean, because I think Bournemouth together with Brentford, our teams, we expected they were going to struggle really badly after the teams got decimated. But no, that hasn't happened. In fact, they're doing better than a lot of teams that haven't restructured haven't lost people, like Chelsea, for example, Newcastle, for example.
Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle. So yeah, credit to that. Just one thing, because your question was on the what the results though. So the biggest problem now is for West Ham with 0-1. Then it becomes all in fight. Obviously, it was always expected it was gonna be hard against Arsenal. And to be fair, they did put out a good fight. Yeah, but now they're gonna have to just go all guns blazing. So where all guns blazing, there will be goals. So the last two matches, I think they have no choice. So let's see. We'll take a look at the matchups later. But yeah, I'd like to look at West Ham as a possible. But Bowen hasn't scored for ages. I can't remember 20 something. Never mind.
Is it?
And there, but not goals. I can't remember when the last time he scored. So maybe Somerville's options. That's something we can look at. But yeah, West Ham is a team I would see whether or not we have any viability there.
Right. You discuss in depth next. We shift to our focus on the last 2 game week, because they are 37 and 38. We can touch on whose team to target on the pitch. We discuss now, because at least we can target which player that we should, right? With the transfer are precious right now. Not everyone has luxury like 5 free transfer, 4. There's probably 1, 2, right? So you need really to focus and then prioritize. Let's now talk about league title, Arsenal and City. They are still on the running. Probably you already triple up. If not, then Arsenal are playing Burnley this game week. And then next week will be playing Crystal Palace. So if they say both win this game week, their fixture, Arsenal and Man City, they need to play the last game week with strong squad, because they're still in it. But there is a scenario this week. What will happen if they say Arsenal menang against Burnley this week, but then City drop point against Bournemouth, which is a away match, and like we mentioned, Bournemouth are still on the running for that Champions League spot, so-called, on paper at least, right? Or the European spot, they still. So means that they will definitely try to win that game. So if let's say City drop that, then suddenly 38 might not mean any more for Arsenal and City in the triple up. So you need to bear that in mind. That's at least from my take lah. What else? The European spot, Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford. Can I say at least those players, they still in it. So you need to probably, if like you have the asset, you can just leave it until the next 2 game week, or you just focus on them. Probably you can target. There's argument lah. You already should have Bournemouth, Brighton players anyway, because you wildcat in 32 and load up those players, probably. But could this be also an opportunity to readjust your team, because now you know which player are performing? Like contoh, Welbeck not perform. We had Hinshelwood perform. Should we do like that sideways, although Hinshelwood in midfield and Welbeck in forward, right? Bournemouth also, Tavernier like me, not perform. Could Ryan be an opportunity? Because he has been like squad last week, right? And Krupi Jr., probably he's on penalty. So that can be in the thinking. I'm not sure about Chelsea. Everton probably, because their fixture also nice, because this is what the committee is seeing. A nice entry point this week for Everton. They're playing Sunderland, and then away to Spurs. Could be KG for Spurs at home, if let's say they need that. And last but not least, the relegation battle, Spurs and West Ham. They could still need result for the next 2 game week. You need to pick up players, but players under stressful situation right now, will they perform? Will they be succumb to the pressure, right? But you need to be careful also. Say West Ham, let's take a look at their fixture. West Ham playing away to Newcastle, and then at home to Leeds United. For Spurs, they're playing away to Chelsea, then home to Everton. So on paper, probably Spurs fixture are tougher, but playing away to Newcastle are also not easy, right? Because Newcastle are playing the last game in front of their cross, so they will definitely want to move on in terms of it. So we can talk about that. Which team are to target and definitely which team are on the beach.
Okay, so I'll just go straight to your talking about Spurs and West Ham, right? The problem with Spurs is that Chelsea match is one of the worst records for Spurs in the past decade, past 2 decades or something like that. They just can't seem to get anything at Stamford Bridge. It's a boogie match for them, Spurs versus Chelsea. So it's almost as if it's a given that, okay, we've lost that one, but you just need to win that last one and hope that West Ham don't win theirs. So because there's a very likely scenario that Spurs are going to lose that match, and West Ham are going to win theirs, which is setting up a crazy situation in the very last game. Of course, West Ham versus Newcastle is a tough one. It's not the last match, but it's the last match at Newcastle home. So if West Ham can get something there, then I think it will set up nicely for the last day fun. And for all you know, that could be together with the chase for Europe. If the title is decided, then that's where the fun might lie instead. But one thing to bear in mind, and this is where the importance of the schedule is, West Ham will play first. Yeah, so they will play first. So they have to go all out.
I can bring the fixture. Okay.
Yeah. West Ham play first. Spurs play right at the end. And the reason Spurs have to play at the end is because Chelsea are involved in the FA Cup final. Yeah, so that's where West Ham will play. So West Ham, this is the match for them they just have to pour it. Yeah, they have no choice but to win that one, which is not going to be easy. This against Newcastle, but it does mean that I wonder whether we'll see some good number of goals there as they go and fight end to end. Newcastle, of course, want to put on the show for the last game of the season. Yeah, so like that. And there was also, we're talking about Bournemouth. So Bournemouth plays City at home. It's crazy, right? It just, Bournemouth are chasing for Europe and possibly the Champions League as well. Let's say one or Liverpool or Aston Villa. It's not. Let's assume it's not draw, but someone wins, someone loses. So Bournemouth wins here. Let's say Bournemouth win against City, gifting Arsenal the league title. So that takes care of the title. So now you got Bournemouth on 58 points, one of Liverpool or Aston Villa on 59 points. So then it will set up very nice end of this fight for the final Champions League spot. Okay, so
that can be a situation. Yep.
Yeah, and who do Liverpool?
It means that the result is on their hand. It means that Bournemouth just need to win their games, right?
Yeah, let's say it's Liverpool, right? Let's say it's Liverpool who lose against Villa. So Liverpool will play Brentford. I got to take a closer look. Sorry.
Yeah, Brentford. You're right.
Yeah, Liverpool will play Brentford. So whereas where is Aston
Bournemouth playing Forest?
Where's Aston Villa at the bottom, right? I can't see who they're playing at the end.
Aston Villa lawan Man City.
Aston Villa lawan Man City. So if Aston Villa play Man City in the game week 38, right? Yeah. So if Aston Villa lose against Liverpool, they might get knocked out of the Champions League if they play against City. Yeah. So at least Liverpool play Brentford, but even then, same thing. But with City, it might be harder. So it's very, very tricky. But of course, the thing is, if for that to happen, for Bournemouth to fight for that Champions League spot, City will have to have lost. Yeah, in game week 37 to.
So means that there might be nothing to play lah for City.
They got nothing to play, but they Mara. I don't know. Yeah, but they are still playing at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are still playing at home, so they want to finish off.
Yeah, give a
Even
sent
show.
off for Bernardo Silva, right? Because they're his last game, John Stones, right?
And possibly Pep as well.
Yeah, probably.
So that's the thing. So either way, it's a home game with whatever happens to the league. I think they're just gonna pull with a full strength team, even though there's nothing to play for. I think they will. So Villa better. So the pressure is all on Villa, I would say, to get to win against Liverpool, which does mean that Liverpool Aston Villa is not a match that you want to go picking up players from. I think it's too I think it's too tricky. Not that we want to, because there are obviously more favorable matchups. Obviously if you haven't tripled up in the Arsenal, maybe that's where you need to do it, if you want to. Just now we're talking about Bournemouth, Brighton, and Brentford. So that's why. So this is a problem with Bournemouth because they play against City, and
Yeah.
but so by expecting Bournemouth to stay in the fight, you have to expect City to concede or lose. You're not good. I can't see a situation where you who would have O'Reilly would pick up Krupi, for example. What are you hoping for? You're hoping Krupi and O'Reilly to score. O'Reilly to still
Unlikely.
Yeah, exactly. So even though Bournemouth are looking good, and I think Krupi is going to be that huge dark horse pick, by the way, because we're not going to expect. And the problem is City are still in the FA Cup final, so that's going to hurt regardless. And all of us have 3 City players. The majority of us. All I can say is there's nothing we can do for that one. Just make sure you have a bench. If anyone gets injured, make sure you have a bench. So this comes back to my worry about my bench. I'm going to spot those City players. So, I don't want to just improve my first 11. I only have one person on my bench. It's not enough. Because if someone gets injured with, maybe Haaland unlikely, and, but Cherky or Maguire, you never know who might get injured. So you need to have that bench ready. Chelsea, I hope most people have divulged of Chelsea assets by now. It's just not, they just haven't.
Can we touch on the team to target? We have fixture ticker on the right side. Arsenal are favourable. Burnley and then away to Crystal Palace. They want to win this league title.
Yes.
This is a nice entry point against Burnley. If you do not have triple Arsenal asset, should we do that?
My concern about Arsenal now, because if you remember City, they won 1-0 against Burnley a few weeks back. So I do feel that Burnley have gotten slightly better in that defensive part of the game. It's a huge issue here. Most people are expecting, most pundits in general are expecting Arsenal to trash Burnley.
Yep.
Yeah. The thing is, who do you pick? It's a huge problem because no one is set in stone, aside from Gabriel, Saka, and in terms of attack, Rice. I don't know if Rice not so much.
I put you into the spot. Currently, the most transfer in is Gyökeres.
Yeah, and and one of the popular narrative going for that is that he's a flat track bully. He just goes against the small teams and scores against the small teams. So that's So if you were buying into that, then you'd expect him to score a goal. But then if you really want to buy, if it has to be strong enough that you expect him to score more than a goal. If he's a bully, scoring 1 goal isn't a bully. Score more. Yeah. So you have to be fully invested into that. I can't see that very well. Yeah.
But there's opportunity. There's opportunity now at home against Burnley.
Because right at the back of my head right now is the huge worry, and I think other content creators have discussed it as well, is that they managed to score the first goal and then they just sit back and defend. And to illustrate this point, because Rice used to be more attacking before, and he used to be all out, and then he's a lot more forward. But now he's really sitting back. So it just feels that's also part of Arteta's strat, which is defend that clean sheet after you score a goal and lock it down, slow down play, lock it down, and I've seen that. I've seen that a lot, and which is making me worry. Not just about tripling up on Arsenal, but also captaining an Arsenal player. Yeah, so it's gotten to the point that if I was to captain, let's say I have two strikers and Gabriel, if I wanted to captain someone, Captain Gabriel, because I'm not
Oh man.
yeah, just for 1-0 and Gabriel with the clean sheet, probably DEFCON and bonus points, and maybe he has one of the goals because Burnley are the worst team for conceded from set piece goals. So that's that is the good old combo of Saka that set piece kick Gabriel goal, right? But there's one other person who's doing those set pieces that can lead to goals is Declan Rice.
Declan Rice. You got that 14 points somewhere in the game.
Yeah. That's the thing. So I'm just looking at it in that way. I really personally, I don't know about you, but I don't see Arsenal scoring a lot for the Burnley game. Yeah.
What
but not the Burnley game.
Yeah, but I feel what people are or the way that people are approaching this game week is they will triple up Arsenal. Okay, if they have transfer or means that privilege some free transfer to do it. I think they will do that. People already jump into Gyökeres. But my worry only, because I think Arsenal are expected to win that game anyway. But will they really haul 3-0, 4-0? Probably not. They might only win 2-0. And that's it. They still win. And then if let's say Bournemouth get something against City, suddenly your triple Arsenal probably ada potential rotation in game week 38 when there's nothing to play, which I don't want because you need to prioritize your transfer, right? So that I need to be careful. Probably for me, I already have 2 Arsenal players. Will I get third one? Probably not, because I don't want to go all in unless we know for sure 38 everyone has something to play. City has to win, Arsenal have to win to ensure their lead title. Then I'm more keen to all in. Yeah. But it's only left with 2 game weeks, right? And that's how I'm going to approach Arsenal.
I mean, this is all Bournemouth's fault for being so good. If Bournemouth were rubbish, then we would not worry about City not being able to win the Bournemouth game. But because you, as you say, your argument is if Bournemouth win against City, then Arsenal don't need to put a full strength squad for game week 38 anymore. Your players are at risk. I wouldn't be surprised if that scenario happened. I wouldn't be surprised if even Gabriel could get benched, because if there's one thing Arsenal have, they got a lot of centre backs. They've got centre backs playing in fullback positions at the moment. So yeah.
I think another talking points this week is if let's say you want triple up or moving into Arsenal, would you go double in defense or double attack? Probably the answer for us now would be double defense. But you need to consider who, because Ben White out now, right? Injured and out of the World Cup. Calafiori, I'm not sure about his situation. Lewis Skelly, will he play in midfield or Kapi coming back to left back? There's a lot of uncertainty, right? Probably Saliba.
Yeah. So Saliba is the ultimate safe pick. The Lewis Skelly, I mean, he started the last couple of games and he was trusted to start in the Champions League semi-finals in place of Zubimendi. But Zubimendi was an ever-present of Arsenal for most of the matches this league. I find it impossible that he doesn't come in at some point, and that's or start in one of the last 2 games. So which makes Lewis Kelly a very risky option. And to be fair, he doesn't have great stats in terms of going forward, DEFCON wise. He's not there. So I wouldn't put him as a pick. So if you wanted to have a safe, boring option, then you would go for a defender, which is Saliba. Calafiori, we're waiting for news on. But even then, I'm worried that, because if he's just coming back for injury and then he starts this game, then the next game still he might get benched again. It's still possible. So if you want to put me on spot, Saliba or Raya, if your keeper is rubbish, you need just someone solid, then pick up Raya.
Okay, I just read out updates from Arteta during his presser. Jordan Timber remains out. There is a chance he plays before the end of the season. There is a chance. Probably no chance. Okay. Ben White season is over. Kyle Freer is hopefully nothing serious, but this is a doubt. That's the situation.
Yeah, so for Timber, at the most, maybe he'll turn up on the bench on game week 38. So it's a no-no. And when you say before the end of the season, that includes the Champions League as well. It's not just the league, which is Champions League only later.
I want to mention about Everton, man, Ken, because he's on the third in terms of ticker. There also a lot of conversation that probably this also a nice entry point for Everton. They have something to play still. They're playing Sunderland at home, then Spurs away, which has been terrible. And KDH, Ndiaye, Tarkowski, Michael Keane are the conversation that people are looking at right now, man. What do you think? You are a KDH fan and you had him now.
I find it incredible because I've always been anti-Everton players most, but KDH has been a revelation for me. I'm pretty much in his zone. Tarkowski, he scored last week, so that's why he's Mr. Very popular at the moment. But Keane is cheaper, of course, and Keane has been a better source of DEFCONs, and goals actually. It's just Tarkowski recency bias there. So Everton, because and what makes it great is that they play against Sunderland, who are goal shy. If you look at the goal difference, they have one of the worst goal differences of the aside from the teams in the relegation zone. They are the tied worst goal difference together with Spurs and Palace. Yeah, so it tells you a lot. But they've scored little, but just kept clean sheet. But then when they concede a lot. Yeah, so chances are they might not score as well. They always have a problem scoring. So against Everton, have a good chance of keeping a clean sheet, and also against Spurs as well. I would say Spurs aren't exactly goal prolific either. They tried to win by one goal and then ended up conceding 1-1. So definitely a defender can be considered. The thing is, I don't know whether they'll still be able to fight for anything. I guess they are very slim chance of getting something.
Are they on the beach?
Technically,
I think that's
no.
the question. Technically,
Yeah.
no. Okay.
Technically, no. Technically, they still can get that Europe spot. Yeah, but that risk again is Everton winning their match, but then all the teams above win theirs as well, which means Everton will lose out of a Europe spot. So that's the risk. You no risk for the game week 37, but game week 38 becomes a risk. And game week 38, of course, the Spurs fighting for survival.
You know what? If I say I have a spare transfer, definitely I would target KDH and the year, because I think in terms of feature, probably they are not on the beach yet. Let's say you got the 30% on the beach, 70% still has something to play. But because most people are already maxed out, Bournemouth, Brighton, probably Brentford to an extent, Everton will be kind of differential. I just read out here, KDH only owned by 7% manager, Ndiaye 4.5%, Michael Keane 3%, 2.7%, yeah. Tarkowski a different level at almost 12%. So that can be a differential. So that's what people are looking at. Okay. Can I touch on Fulham because they are fourth on ticker? Are they on the beach, man?
It looks like it.
They have excellent fixture this week against Wolves.
Yeah, they do, but they've Wilson's been in poor form as well. So, I just now they lost against Bournemouth 1-0, which I felt is the turning point. Okay, fine, they got trashed by Arsenal, but after that, losing to Bournemouth, I think that just hurt them really bad, and I think that's it for them. I wouldn't pick up with and don't forget Anderson is off. Yeah, so Anderson's quite important to Fulham's style of play going forward, how they move the ball, but and without him, Wilson's going to be even more ineffective. So for me, Fulham are hands off. There's no point.
All right. I just want to point out another player, Harry Wilson, because that's a player that, especially me who being eyeing this fixture, because hey, come on, man, we take advantage of Wolf lah. But I just realized for the past 2 game week in 35, 36, he hooked up on around 60 plus minutes.
Yes.
So, man, I don't think I'm going to go there.
No. You want someone who can score right towards the end as well. KDH. So yeah.
Okay. Chelsea, we talk about those players anyway. Most probably people are substituting them out more than in. How about Newcastle, man? They are 6 on the ticker. Newcastle, West Ham at home, away to Fulham. Bruno D.
Okay, so Newcastle, you could argue they're on the beach, but there's one thing that is going on. If we were locals over there, they're gonna look at the table and they're gonna see that Sunderland is above them. Their local rivals are there above them, so they're gonna want to overtake them, and they're gonna look at Sunderland's matchups, and so they play Everton and Chelsea. So they're gonna look at that thinking, we can overtake them. So this Newcastle game against West Ham is one they want to win. They don't care so much about relegating West Ham, but they need to win that one just for that local rivalry pride, and which is why Bruno Guimaraes for me is not a bad look up at all. If I'm not sure what's happened with Anthony Gordon, the striker side seems to be very tough to figure out now. But so it's Bruno, and then Harvey Barnes is still scoring as coming off the bench, that kind of thing. But Bruno Guimaraes, I think, is a great pick if you have the space for your midfield. Definitely a great option who I think will help drive Newcastle to win that game to try to go above Sunderland.
Great stuff. Anything else to speak from here? I mean, you want to speak about Brentford? They are not that on the beach yet, right?
Yes, they're not. I guess, but one thing I'll just write off now is that I can't see Thiago catching Haaland, although Haaland gave him a 1-week discount. But of course, I can't. I'm as much as I can. I hope Brentford destroy Palace with a Thiago hat trick. It's great. I think you should still pick Thiago because against Palace as well as Liverpool, he definitely can score goals in both games. Yeah, so you have to decide whether you want to bring him. But Brentford have the firepower to keep fighting to get the Europe spot. They can do that.
All right. I think we discussed so much in detail in terms of which still have something to play and on the beach, right? So it's up to us now to decide which player that you want to come in, especially this game week, if you want to be aggressive or wait until the end, right? Okay. Much talk on that. Let's talk about captaincy for this week, man. How about that? Because there are some potential different players that we can consider, because we talk about Arsenal versus Burnley, City playing Bournemouth, and at the same time, Mr. Bruno Fernandes at home against Forest, Casemiro last match, and Bruno Fernandes still want to match that assist record, right? So there's still potential that he wants to do that. I think he has already been awarded like PFA Player of the Season or something like that, right? So
yep.
So these are the game with 37 points prediction from Fantasy Football Hub. Haaland still predicted the highest to score big, 7.7. But if you don't trust him, Gabriel, Saka, Saliba from Arsenal, which one you fancy, you can do that. No Gyökeres here. And then Bruno Fernandes and an option, which can be an interesting one. What do you think, man?
Yeah, so Haaland is the definitive pick, of course, but him playing the FA Cup final, make sure you have a good vice captain, okay? we obviously don't expect him to get injured, but he's still human. If
bukan robot ke? Dia bukan robot ah?
all you need is a bloodthirsty Gusto to whack his legs and get himself sent off, but at the same time knock Haaland out of commission. You know, it can happen. I can't never say never. So you can put Haaland as captain, but have a decent vice captain. For me, I'm not going. I'm unlikely to go that route. I might vice captain Haaland instead. Gabriel, we talked about just now in terms of captaining. So yeah, I would captain Gabriel over Saka if I would have to choose between.
Wow,
okay, that's the reality of it. Then Saliba, no. Why is Saliba even in here? So just
clean sheet point, bonus point.
Yeah, but for this to happen, someone would have to intentionally bring in Saliba and captain him. Who has, I don't know what his ownership is, 16.1, still quite high though.
Yeah, 16%.
But I guess that's the safe pick with a hopeful chance of maybe involvement in attack. Unlikely, you know, because I would put Raya above Saliba, but then I wouldn't. Who would captain your keeper, right? So the thing with Bruno is just that he's the luster or the seduction for picking Bruno as captain has dropped significantly because, you know, after all this hoo-ha about him chasing the assist record and stuff, you know, I want a captain who's chasing the goals. But more in terms of goals. So, but he's a good chance against Forest. So the question is, which Forests are going to turn up? You know, is it the Forest that got whacked?
Yeah, both at the beach, right? Both at the beach now.
Or is it going to be the stronger Forest? You know, that played much better. I think they trounced. I can't remember. Was it Chelsea 4-0? I can't remember.
Itu dengan Sunderland 5-0 bang, jangan.
Sorry. So
Chelsea kena whack 3-1.
Forest won against Chelsea 3-1. That's right. Yeah. So it's a question of which Forest is going to turn up for this match. So I think Forest are defensively still quite solid. Are United better than Villa? Theoretically, yes, but United do have some issues with Sesko. That Mbeumo has not been, you know, in form. So it's a tough one.
You'll go at Gabriel as your captaincy this week.
No, I'm just saying between Gabriel and Saka, I would choose Gabriel because I have Gabriel. I have both, but I would choose Gabriel over Saka. But in terms of the actual captaincy, I am considering Thiago. I have faith in firepower.
That's really differential because I don't think anybody going there.
Yeah, because the theory behind that is because Palace are okay. So now we've seen Palace team midweek against
They're playing
City.
strong team, lah. Okay.
Is it a strong team? It was.
Yeah.
Aside from Sar and others, but most of the key ones, Munoz, Henderson,
they all play.
They all played. Yeah. So I like what I see, and Brentford at home, right? So yeah. I'm very, very interested.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's just the scheduling is the problem lah, because they play on Sunday, and then I have to wait until the Haalands who play on Tuesday night, and or Arsenal who play on Monday night. So
Monday night,
Tuesday morning sini lah. But I try to not care about that kind of thing too much because it doesn't make sense. It's all psycho ni semua.
Yeah. Okay, Nick, I think Thiago is a nice choice. I can agree on you on that. Probably for me, I'll go boring. I'll go the Arsenal team and who's most likely to score or returns. If you have Gyökeres, probably you go there. But I think for myself, I go for Saka.
Good.
He's still lowly all right at 11%, which is still okay.
Who?
Saka.
Saka. Saka's ownership is quite low.
Okay, good stuff. Quickly on predicted score and clean sheet before we go to our team. I got this from FPL Joe. Do follow him and subscribe to his Twitter. and visual from robtFPL. Aston Villa Liverpool, we kick off on Friday night. Goals. Liverpool are expected to score better than Aston Villa, 1.7. What else stand out here? I'll take a look. Arsenal are expected to score 3 goals against Burnley, man. And 62% clean sheet odds. That's really high. Tak bagi chance kat Burnley. Okay, so that's what the market predicted, I suppose.
So black.
Yeah. Other than that, who else? 1.83 Newcastle. Okay. Over West Ham, projected goals. Brentford 1.84. So means that this is something good for you, man. If you're thinking about Thiago. United to score 2 against Forest. Wow. 2 goals against Forest, yeah. Yeah. Which Forest like you mentioned, who's going to turn out. Right. And then Chelsea Spurs going to be tight one, 1.7, 1.45. Bournemouth City, no prediction there yet. I don't know market spending to buy. Probably they are still predicting which lineup that City going to field on that game. It's going to be a tight one for Leeds. I think Leeds Brighton is an interesting one, man. Leeds play at home for the last time, but Brighton has something to play. The market predicted Brighton to have something extra over than Leeds United, 1.68. What stand out for you, man?
Leeds are going to be super motivated. I don't understand. But yeah, I'm very happy to see the Brentford odds for 1.84, the third highest, is it? Yeah, the third highest after Arsenal and Manchester United, right? Of course, Bournemouth, Manchester City, no data yet. Of course, yeah, I expect that it go higher. I find the Newcastle 1.83 interesting, as in who's scoring the goals, and it's going to be very hard to figure that out. Osula, there's no clear-cut answer for that one. So Gomares as the safer all-round pick. The Everton Sunderland, that puts faith about us talking about Everton defense. Sunderland have the second worst after Burnley in terms of scoring goals, the chances of them scoring a goal. Conversely, Everton have the best chance of keeping a clean sheet after Arsenal at 37%. Of course, it's a lot bigger, but yeah, still. United keeping a clean sheet, I'm not quite sure, but to be fair, this is the Theatre Dreams last game, so maybe there's some, that they take that the markets are taking that into account as well. So yeah, that's it. Villa Liverpool, yeah, I mentioned I'm staying away from. But United Forest, is that gonna push people to captain Bruno Fernandes? Yeah, it's got to. But then I'm just worried about the personnel, and I'm worried about Bruno and his need to rush after that assist record thing rather than the goal thing. So those things.
Understand. But we discussed Arsenal an option, City an option. Arsenal, City, and then who else we mentioned? United, Bruno, and to an extent Brentford, because clean sheet odds also quite high, and projected goal 1.84. All right, let's go to our team, man. Which is I go to my team first. No money in the bank.
Yeah.
Money has been scarce for me. 2 free transfer. Currently captaining Saka, like I mentioned. In goal, you can see there, I'm contemplating to play the Leeds United defense or the Brighton defense. I'm going to all in for Brighton. I think Brighton going to get a result. They need it against Leeds United. Leeds United are going to play some fringe player during this last game week in front of their crowd. They will give rest to their players. And Verbruggen and Van Hag will play into my team. Gabriel and O'Reilly. On my bench will be Hill and Strach on the defense. Saka, Enzo Fernandez coming into my team. He deserves to play after the 8 points. Sorry, Enzo. This week you play, okay? And then Cherky and Bruno Fernandes. João Pedro, Haaland, and Welbeck, while Tavernier on the bench. Will I make a move? I could easily not make a move, but I'm worried about that. My club, Chelsea asset, are they on the beach? Probably half a week. So I want to attack this week, but I don't want to go all in. I cannot easily make João Pedro move to Gyökeres if I want. I don't have money. So I'll move João Pedro to Thiago. Thiago have something to play. He's a 90-minute man. He's on penalty. He's talisman for Brentford. So I don't want to overthink this. And on Gameweek 38, he's playing away to Liverpool, which is still okay. Liverpool, like I mentioned, Liverpool can also concede goals, right? So I think I can go there. Thiago, even though dia punya ownership still high, 30%, but João Pedro are higher, around 40% plus. So I think I'll go there and give Welbeck. Come on, Welbeck. Do it when it matters. Against Leeds, please. That's my team, man.
Okay, you know the popular theory has been if there's one person who's going to score for Chelsea, it's João Pedro, right? Okay, but theoretically right now you have 5 players who could all be needing your sub bench by the time midweek comes around. So fine. So you're getting rid of Pedro to put in Thiago. Okay, that's fine. So that reduces it down to 4. So I guess it's okay. You have some able deputies in your bench, Tavernier, Hill, all starting because they're all chasing for something. So I guess that. Thiago, yeah. Welbeck's the disappointment, but we have to hope that he does pull off something. But yeah, there is that theory because I was saying about how Leeds' defense has been so strong of late. Maybe now that they are clearly safe from relegation, they'll open up, have a bit of fun at home, as you say, and give some of the Finnish players a starting chance. So yeah, that you gotta hope that happens, and Brighton will of course push all the way because they're chasing for that Europe spot.
So I want to play that. I want to play that narrative. Brighton gonna get result against Leeds.
Okay. Enzo Tavernier. Yeah, I think that's the best he can do. Dalot. Your keepers play against each other. So,
So I need to choose a side. Probably if I have DCL, I choose Leeds United. So at this I need to bet on. I don't think people will play the Brighton players, right? I don't know. I'll do that. And I just want to point out, I also think about KDH I want to bring in. But if they say, you imagine that scenario, if I bring in KDH, I take out Tavernier for him, KDH, who am I going to bench? If I play KDH, right? Probably one of João Pedro or Welbeck to be benched, which it will put my side into dilemma if I do that move. So I think probably I won't do that. There's a reason why I don't need to do that.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's go to your team, man. You got 1.9 million in the bank, Mr. Kaya, but only one free transfer.
Right, so obviously Kelleher I'm going to keep against Palace, who might already be distracted. Anderson will be dropped down for Senesi, of course. So the problem now, Anderson and Okafor are both injured, leaving me only Konsa on my outfield bench. Dubravka, of course, stays. Do you notice Dubravka didn't play the last game either?
Yeah.
So pretty much that's out as well. Then you have be Senesi, Gabriel, Guehi, then Fernandez, zwxrhj, Cherki, Saka, Thiago, Haaland, Welbeck. So assuming I got my captaincy on Thiago. So the question now is, what do I do if I'm going to bring in an additional player because I want someone, because I'm really worried about my bench being so thin. So the question now is, if I bring him in, surely I want to transfer in someone who will want to play, because the people who I'm transferring out will be Okafor or Konsa on the bench. So I thought long and hard about it, and I think that the person who I would probably most likely bench is Welbeck. So totally contrasting to what you talked about for your team, because same dilemma. Who do I bench? For me, I'm not that. I don't find it a problem to bench Welbeck. I think this is not an issue. Question is, who do I bring in? So Konsa also is a risk that he may not even start play, which means, which puts my defense down to 3. So most likely I'll bring in a defender. So who do I bring? I'm considering a couple of people. I'm considering KLP, Luis Potter. So putting Bradford up to a triple up. Or go for the Arsenal one. And if I do, then it'll just be Saliba. I'm too chicken. Unless I get news that Calafiori is fit, then I'll go for Calafiori. Otherwise, it's Saliba. That's if I really worried about my defense not having enough. Yeah, but if I'm not worried about that at all, Senesi, Gabriel, and Kagwehi will all start. I don't have to worry about my bench coming in. Then I can bring in a midfielder for Akafor, and I have a few candidates.
Who's your candidates?
One of them is Declan Rice for the punt. So that's a huge punt on my part.
You have money for that?
Yeah, can, no problem.
All right.
Sorry. But I'm also Brighton. What's his name? The Hinchelwood.
Oh, Hinchelwood. Oh, nice.
Yeah. In DIA for penalties against Sunderland. Also considering. Ballard is back though, so I can't see him getting himself sent off again. I can't see him pulling people's hair again. I don't know who has long. There's a few long hair people in Everton, but I can't see him. So those are a few options. Bournemouth, no, I can't really find anyone there. That because they are playing.
So if I were you,
one more. I mentioned West Ham just now, so Somerville is the option for me.
Somerville.
But again, there's huge punts.
But anyway, we left it 2 weeks, right? We can go panty every week for the next 2 weeks, no issue. But if I'm in your position, I will play what you have. I think you have a strong team. You play Senesi or Anderson, you roll your transfer, 2 free transfer could make a difference game into the A, which you can make your team more.
Roll lagi.
That's what I feel. But if you want to attack this week, I think one player you did not mention. You mentioned earlier, but you don't mention here, which I probably will focus on your defense because Konza macam Senesi playing at home against City, you know lah, right? Oh yes, he has DC potential, but we want to max out, right? And Anderson is out for the season. Yeah. And he's priced at 4.5 million. Yes, money is not a problem. You could go for Michael Keane at home against Sunderland.
Yes.
Then away to Spurs.
No,
and then who knows, keep a clean sheet, right? DC points and potential goal threat against Sunderland. But if you want to go bigger than Tarkowski, I think you have money, right? No issue. So probably I'll go there and address your defense.
But the problem I have with that is the problem I'm having in the IA. More than one Everton player. So we'll see. I mean, if I go to Everton player, I might as well go for the penalty taker. But your point is there, because the chance they do have a decent chance of keeping clean sheets.
Yeah. So I think that's where I go if I want to make a move. But if you ask me, I would rather roll. That's my opinion. You will decide.
Save the transfer for the chaotic game week. Right?
38 mesti chaotic, bang. 38 you just never know.
Okay. All right. Let's think about that.
Right. We come to the end of the stream, but before that, let's take a look at the FPL Jedi League. The number one now, right? Now is 1, 2, 3 go. From Nama, he scored 90 points. He activated triple captaincy last week. And you can see his team there. Verbruggen, O'Reilly, Gabriel, Verheyen, and Hill. 6 points better than nothing. Bruno Fernandes, Cherky, Gross with an assist right there. 3 points there, 6 points. Saka, Black, DCL. I told you, man, DCL won the battle between Welbeck and DCL. I macam ni lah, I kata. Whoever goes to DCL, Tabik, you had the right player.
ECL penalty. Thanks a lot, Spurs player. I'm there lah. So penalty. High boot in the box.
Okay, and now Rodrigo on the poll to win our FPL Jedi League, man. Okay, I just want to point out 2248 by Voodoo FC at second, 8 points different, 2240. Myself are way beyond. I need to catch up 30 plus point, which is a mountain to climb, which is tough, right? But you just never know. But I think Rodrigo is on the poll to win our league. And we shout out to the rest in the top 10 spots as 11 Yara Sparta move up to 4th, FPL Joe Champion to 5th, Run FC down to 6th, Kamikaze, Goodbye Sunny FC, Kijamera, and Lee Basomo FC2 from Pines Forest. That's the team. You want to comment anything?
Yeah, it's a nice trick, but then you've gotten further down. You've got 25, 30 points difference now with the
yeah.
So good luck. We'll see what happens if there's any interesting swings. But then he has Gross instead of your Welbeck, for example. He has Tavernier and he has Tavernier as well. But he put him on the bench.
Yeah, which is the right choice.
No one's business, right? Yeah. But he had Pedro on the bench. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, we come to the anniversary, man. Your last word.
All right, good luck. Yes, game week 37 is the game week that, really last game week where we can really plan for teams to play full and still unlikely to rotate. But game week 38 is going to be chaos. So just focus on game week 37. Don't worry so much. Get ready to it. Game week 38 is all about the team use. For game week 37, focus and don't take unnecessary risks. Meaning, if you have those Chelsea you've got those Chelsea players and City players, you need to account for that risk when making your moves for this week.
All right, thank you guys for joining and watch us. Do hit the like button and subscribe to our FPL Jedi YouTube channel. Do support us. And until then, we sign off for Game Week 37 preview. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.